The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 318. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is a image coach and influencer, and I'm just really excited to have her on and share her story with us on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Celestia Faith Chong. Celestia, how are you doing today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Hi, Sheena, and hi, everyone who's listening in. I'm Celestia, and as Sheena has mentioned, I'm actually an image coach as well as an influencer. So basically, how I got inspired being an image coach is, I started my pageant journey being a Mrs. Singapore finalist in 2014, having two titles as Mrs. Community Service Queen as well as Mrs. Star Essence. And I actually, move on, the following year to actually help them being the YouTube host in Mrs. Singapore TV. And from which, being an influencer, I also get to host cover interesting events like the MediaCorp Rotex Max Challenge, being their official blogger. And this year, I actually covered the Who is Jesus, one of the musical, the official blogger in S-Minute as well. And this also adds up to me being the ambassador for Base Entertainment as well as the Face and Body Skin ambassador in 2016. And last but not least, actually fortunate, to start this tiny group for single moms called Solo Bliss, whereby single moms in Singapore, we do gather and help and support each other. And yes, thank you, Sheena.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what's your cultural background?
Well, my parents, they are both Singaporean Chinese, and they have very traditional thinking by nature. And I was actually brought up in a very strict manner with like hardly any toys and very disciplined lifestyle,
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's something most Asian, women can can relate to, right? And, Celestia, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Right. My favorite self-confidence quote, I would say, would be love being the perfect imperfect me and making a difference in this imperfect world. So in conclusion, is loving self, loving life, and loving all.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's a great quote: loving self, loving life, and loving all. I mean, it all starts with love, and I think we forget that. And it definitely starts with ourselves. It's hard for some women to love themselves, especially how they were brought up, just because they just feel like they're not worthy, or they feel like they need somebody else's love to feel that worth. And, not realizing like it just starts from with us. So when we can learn to just love ourselves, it can, really bring so much stuff, attract the right things into our life. So I really love that quote that you mentioned. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
Well, it actually relates to the quote that I actually just shared. It's about loving, it's actually loving yourself as being who you are and believing in your dreams. Because I believe no dreams are actually too big to be achieved. You probably could achieve just part of a dream, but you're working towards it. And that makes your life, it gives your life a whole lot of other much meaning and add that kind of passion and zest in what you want to achieve at the end of the day.
Thanks for sharing that. And, I totally agree with you with, going after your dreams. I always believe if you can dream it, you can do it, you can create it. I mean, it all starts from our head. Some of the greatest inventions right now started from someone's mind, someone's dream, and look how they were able to go out there and just do it. So love that definition that you mentioned. And Celestia, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Well, I actually live a very routine life, doing my best as a mom and a wife, and my life just encircled around within my family and nothing more. So I didn't really spend much thought about me being me. And I realized that, hey, that's not what life all about, and that's not what Celestia is all about. I know within me I could do more, and I know within me I could help many more out there, me being me.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's something we all can relate to, right? We just, follow this like rigid path, that's been
Yes.
that's been brought down to our parents and loved ones, and it's like if we go out of that, people might think we're nuts or something's wrong with us, and not realizing we don't have to follow that rigid path. We don't always have to follow that routine life, because there's things that we're not going to be able to control or go out of whack, and we just have to learn to accept it and move on and learn from it. And what was that point in your life when you realized you were more than enough to be the person that you are today? What was that aha moment?
Basically, I've got two aha moments. One is a very motherly one, which is having kids and taking part in the pageant. When I had kids, I actually have two life and death situations, when I have my first, try, and third. And this gave me a whole different perspective in life that, being alive is actually not to be taken for granted. Or rather, every moment is a gift. A gift to enjoy love, faith, and hope. And thus, I treasure every single moment with my three angels and my close friend. And even making a point to stop by or slow down my steps to look at the blue sky, breathing it deeply and appreciating the peacefulness in the park. Or smiling to the next person that walked past, which we hardly do. And we all tend to neglect that simple gesture of kindness in a tiny way to pay it forward in our busy lifestyle. So for me, I advocate strongly towards my kids, love education. Do not hold back my hugs and kisses for them. I'm not that perfect mom, to spend loads of time with them, but I do make sure that I make that effort and inculcate values to the person that's more important, to me, than them being a scholar, and the values of being able to love and respect self and others. So I would say my second aha moment would be, AHA moment would be, joining a pageant in 2014. It was a huge step that I actually made for, I was never competitive and I had extreme stage fright. So the thought of standing on stage and even performing were, definitely daunting. So I pushed myself and glad that I managed to do the best I could. And it gave me so much valuable experience, thanks to the event organizer from ERM, Angela and Alex, plus the other pageant queens who were with me in the journey. It also made me realize that I had, lost myself and shortchanged on what I could actually do, after getting married. And it's also the year that I decided, I ought to move on my life. And that's it, But it was the best, I would say it is the best decision that I've made for myself. Since then, I took up an image consultancy course to upgrade myself and to make a difference to others by coaching them, to empower them with the right knowledge to look and feel good. I believe that will enhance their quality in life. And I had the opportunity to act, MC, model, coach, and much more than I could ever imagine. And at the same time, of course, I make terrible mistakes along the way. Well, I learned from those mistakes, and I'm happy, that in the midst of, being who I am as I am, I'm also involved in the various volunteer activities to give back in whatever way possible. So that's my two AHA moments that I had, during this span of marriage until now, 10 years. So these are the two major ones that I really love to share, because these are the two that make a great, I would say, it really marks a great milestone in how I changed my perspective in life and how I would like to move forward.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's great that you're able to face your fears by taking pageants, right? I mean, I know some people may not take it seriously, not realizing these pageants really do help women change how they look, not change how they look, but change how they look on the inside, so that it kind of, it shows on the outside. And, just even experiencing, like you mentioned, stage fright. I mean, I'm sure that's the greatest fear most people deal with. I know I would be. And just to face that one fear alone is a huge accomplishment. And and I also I also like that you mentioned, we take little things for granted, which is so true, living in this busy world, especially in the busy world of social media now, where, everyone has ADD. It's we just forget to sit down and smell the roses. So, really, glad that you're able to do this. And now you're an image coach, helping others be empowered and live life on their terms, and, let them know how much worth they have, right? And they can go out there and do their own thing. And, to the woman who is listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
Okay, I think I would say that you need to start by really loving yourself, and do not be afraid to change and love and live your dreams. And start by looking good and being positive about life. Don't wait for others to make a difference for you. For you yourself have the ability to do so in your own humble way.
Those are great tips. Thanks for sharing that. And I love that you mentioned don't be afraid to go out there and change and live your dreams, because sometimes we will, we have to change, in order to do the things that we want. And I know change can be hard and scary and, freaky, because we are so prone to like certain expectations and we're not used to like the unknown, but that unknown can be such a beautiful thing. So, thanks for sharing that. And if our listeners wanted to connect with you and get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Oh, of course. You could actually have my Facebook profile is Celestia Faith Chong in Facebook, and my Instagram is actually Miss Babe Love Babies, as in MSBABELOVEBEBES. As you could see, I advocate love, like I have love in all my quotes. So it's the same thing for my blogspot. That'll be Miss Babe Love Babies, as in MSBABELOVEBEBES.blogspot.sg. So so these are the ways you could connect with me, or you could PM me anytime on Facebook.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Celestia, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Celestia's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Celestia for taking the time to share her story with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheena. Thank you for the opportunity.
Not a problem. It was an honor having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll catch you later. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Get your free audiobook by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.